I wonder if we could just make like Police Knots 2 and no one would notice.
Probably. I think they're more aware that Police Knots exists than Snatcher at this point. Because I know Police Knots is on PSN, isn't it?
I don't know. They put Snatcher in their on their PC Engine Mini. So.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that thing's out.
Yeah. It kind of got delayed because of the whole coronavirus thing. And I feel like they just like one day they were like, hey, it's coming out today. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was looking on Amazon during Prime Day and just seeing what they had, and I stumbled across that, and it's like, oh, available for 1-day delivery. That's
Oh, did you
amazing.
buy it?
No.
How much was it? I don't even know how much
it's $100, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I did kind of want it for the Snatcher, because that Snatcher ROM is kind of supposed to, it's different because they made changes to it.
Yeah, they adjusted it subtly to cover up some of the
copyright. Yeah.
It's still Japanese though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a if I get a gift card type thing.
Right. Yeah, like it's cool what they did.
Playing an adventure game in Japanese does not sound fun for me. I don't know. I'm gonna just go ahead and check out on that one.
間違い電話とはバカにしてる。
Hey, I'm Fingers.
Hey everyone, this is Days Ahead.
And I'm Nitroid. You're listening to the Kojima Frequency.
Wait, how long would you say a Snatcher takes to beat altogether?
I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can probably beat it in like 3-4 hours, I would think.
So they say you need 8,000 hours to learn Japanese. So 8,004 hours to beat Snatcher doesn't sound so bad.
And also, you have to add additional hours because adventure games, if you don't know what you're doing, can take much exponentially longer than other genres.
For sure. Yeah, when I first played Snatcher, it definitely took me a long time.
Yeah, you're basically just like you can't really like go wrong in Snatcher. It's not like King's Quest where you can like not have the right item at a certain point and like get yourself into a unsolvable situation. Like you can just basically just cycle the dialogue tree and just like keep going through that and you'll make it.
All right, so 8,020 hours. So that's just...
On a side note, a similar but off-topic note, I had the weirdest dream this week. I think I mentioned it in the group chat. I had this dream that I've been playing Integral pretty much all week, especially after Nitroid, you mentioned that all the stuff was unlocked, because it's really nice to be able to do the mystery and puzzle stuff without having to do like the stealth weapon and special stuff first.
Yeah, it's tedious.
But to that point, I had a dream where, like, you guys know the whole, like, in an Integral, I've never seen this before, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that if you have Police Knots and or Snatcher save on the Japanese version of Integral, Psycho Mantis calls it out, but then Kojima, like, thanks you for, being such a supportive patron.
I think that's in the original.
That's in the original?
Yeah, it's going to be an integral in Japanese version, but I think it's actually in the original version as well in Japanese.
Oh, word. Well, in any case, I had a dream that, like, I saw the English version of it and nobody had seen it before, which, honestly, with Metal Gear, it's plausible that could happen.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of content that didn't get ported over when they brought Integral to PC, just for obvious reasons. They didn't bring over the developer comments.
Your like very specific video game dream reminds me of the time that I had a nightmare that they announced a new Dark Souls and it had a mini map, and I was so upset. Like it like had a mini map and it had like prompts on the screen like Assassin's Creed, and I was like, no.
Counter.
I like woke up and I was like sweating.
That's even deeper, because that's just not only video games but like your fears.
That is an actual fear I have. Every time they're like, we're working with the new publisher, I'm like, oh no. I'm always afraid. Like when they announced Sekiro with Activision, I was like, oh no, let's see how it goes. But it turned out pretty good, so
It'll be funny if they add things like that to the Demon's Souls remake.
Yeah, let's not go there. You know how I feel about that. We'll be here for 2 hours.
Oh man.
I don't remember which previous episode you guys mentioned this in, but there was something about how just the whole idea of like Miller dying in his cabin.
Oh yeah.
When I was replaying Peace Walker, I forgot that when the game ends, it just the timeline ends and it just says like 2000 whatever Miller dies. It's just like it's on its own, and it just pops up like it's some sort of big reveal. And it's like, okay, and what? He dies later, I guess. It's pretty funny how that shows up, because the timeline goes away and there's like a stinger kind of sound. It says like 2005 Miller is found dead.
Yeah, they're running out of ways to connect it to the later games.
Yeah, for me, that's all answered in the Phantom Pain with that phone call, or just, that talk between Ocelot and Kaz.
Yeah, but that's not going to stop people from trying to figure out like exactly what happened, and they're going to argue over specifics. And
oh yeah, we definitely need to dive deeper down that hole. But I think the whodunit at least is figured out for sure now.
Yeah, I mean, there should be someone should make a fan game where
I tripped in the shower.
I would love to do like a pseudo like true crime episode about Kaz's death.
See,
Cold
what I'm
case.
thinking is I'm thinking of like a Scum style, like Monkey Island style, like one-click adventure game.
Oh
where
shit!
You're gonna solve who killed Kaz. You're like Alaska PD.
No. Do it like that one. Do it like the one last mystery mission in VR missions where you're in that office room,
I was just playing those.
kneeling
Just
by
playing those.
all the random clues that don't mean anything, like pizza box. You've got spilled bottle of
And
ketchup and
A picture of Kojima, the picture of Liquid.
like everything's suspicious.
Do you guys remember when you first played VR missions? For the first time when it was new. I was, looking forward to, because I had heard, right, on the playground or whatever, that you can play as the ninja. And I was like, oh, that's going to be cool. And you have, 4 missions as the ninja. And they're very...
Yeah, and you have to
So it's like
grind,
nothing.
all these other missions to play it.
Yeah,
and then
and
you get there and it's like, it's just 3?
Yeah, and it's very ho-hum. I think one of them is just chopping, wood.
Yeah.
And... they're very they built a whole system. They built all these mechanics of how he controls, and you only do 2 missions really. And I remember being very upset about that because I wanted to, how when they first announced Rising back then when they had that first trailer. I was in my mind, I was thinking, oh, this is gonna be like a stealth game, like Tenchu, or it's gonna, how Snake is super slow and he crawls around and sneaks. With Raiden, he would be super fast, and he would hide behind stuff. So the stealth would be how fast you can do. I had all these ideas in my head, and how cool that could be. I wasn't not a big fan of bringing Raiden back, but hey, if you're gonna do it, that didn't end up happening. But
Man, now you just made me sad.
so all I'm saying is that Metal Gear has led me down twice when it comes to ninjas and playing as them.
That's why I'm happy with this release of VR missions, because I can't necessarily be disappointed if I didn't grind to get to these things.
Yeah, but it is crazy they built a whole a whole thing. He has mechanics. You can do that weird stomp thing, right? Where you can they have all that crap, and this is 2 missions.
And it's surprisingly well thought out too.
Yeah,
Because things like the stealth and your shock freak out move, I don't know what you'd call it, they all drain his health, so you've got to be careful with what you're doing and
they
manage
do. I
it.
forgot about that. Yeah,
And
they
your health correlates with the score you get, so you can't use resources excessively.
Man, Nitro and I have talked about this many times, but if we had access to just make our use the game to make our own missions, or for any of the Metal Gear games, really, that's that would be amazing. We could make our own MGS1 missions, MGS2 missions. Just that would be the best.
Those would be the best 2 to sandbox in a bit and just experiment.
Metal Gear Maker.
Basically, yeah, dude. If you could make a game like Metal Gear 2, I would do that every day. I would wake up, I would make a Metal Gear, and I would go to bed. That's what I would do.
You have your choice between different robots at the end.
Dude,
You have to
and
fight.
I'm going to recreate the NES one and have you blow up a computer or whatever. The only Metal Gear where the final boss is a blue screen.
God, it's simple enough too that if you wanted to go that route and develop a system, I have no doubt that Kojima Productions circa 2001, 2002 could do something like that, but it just has never been a priority of theirs to emphasize user-generated content. Like, they've never cared about that.
Yeah.
It makes sense though because oh, sorry, were you done?
Well, I was going to say their thing has always been curated experiences, but even with Metal Gear Solid 5, there was this talk about, I don't know if it was a mistranslation or people just misconstrued it or misunderstood what Kojima was saying, but he made a remark during MGS5's development about how players could create missions and share them with each other. And I think he meant that in more of like it ended up meaning like he meant it in a broader sense of like, hey, can you pull this off with these means and make it through this route? Like, he didn't actually mean you were creating missions, but it got a lot of people thinking like that's what he was planning. And there was even footage that they were showing off of like the Fox Engine editor where they were like on the fly making new maps, and it was just really cool.
I do remember that video where they were showing just like how easy it was for them to create terrain and just like that's what I remember. I was like, oh cool, this will be used by a lot of developers, and then it came out. We talked about that in another episode where it's just like that was actually a really hard to use tool.
Yeah. It's actually, there are some people who have been making mods and tools for people to create their own MGS4 missions and levels and stuff. But it's not to the point where anyone can do it, from what I understand. It's a bit complicated.
In MGS5.
Yeah, you essentially have to be like a Unity developer.
I do know Adam Online was saying that he was like working on, all those custom missions and stuff and setting them up. So
on the Snake Soup, we have like reported, back when we were doing that on the work he was doing, and I was looking at that, and yeah, that was pretty cool because MGS4 has. I really enjoy MGS4's gameplay, like the minute-to-minute gameplay when you're on the field and doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of the best experiences I've had playing a game. And I didn't want the missions to end, Like, I would love just an extension of, like, different kind of missions that were well-designed because, yeah, you can do the side missions, but they get repetitive, right? They're not enjoyable.
Not to interject, but did you mean MGS5?
What did I say?
4.
MGS4.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go kill myself now.
I could feel Nitroid's blood boiling from here, dude.
Oh, no,
Like, that was a powerful force in the universe just now.
No,
Jesus.
Because
I'll be all right.
You don't understand. I think if we had a competition, our take on MGS4, me and Nitroid, I think we would either be equal or, I can't believe I said that. I'm ashamed. I'm gonna.
I was sitting there thinking,